Hello, 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 hello. I want to welcome you back again. Right now, I'm talking about why the difference, and I have two things to discuss with you today. Why men and women are different. If you've not watched my previous video, please check through the videos. You'll see what I've already discussed on this topic, so that you could have the complete message. So, by the difference, because of culture. You see, culture is very important because we define culture as the way of life of the people. It's the way they live, the way they act, and the way they do things. So if you grow up in a particular culture and your partner grew up in a different culture, you're going to have differences in terms of your perspective, in terms of your psychology. Because you have lived in a different culture that molded you differently, and now your partner has lived in another culture that molded your partner differently. In fact, it is not just a culture in terms of ethnic group, it's also a culture in terms of different homes. Different family have different way of life. I can tell you that looking back right now, and look at my home, I can understand our way of life in the house. For instance, if we needed to get anything, I had access to money, we had a shop, so my mom would say, get the money, go sort out yourself. That was the way of life in my home. But that would probably not be the case in another person's home. So different family, even though they are from similar ethnic group, they also have different way of life. The way they talk, the way they interact, their perspective of issues, are not the same. So when you come together as husband and wife, cultural differences become an issue, especially if the culture is so wide apart. Okay. Again, I can also make this example. Coming over to the UK, I now understand that their culture is quite different from the culture in the Africa continent. Of course, I work in the Africa continent, especially Nigeria hospital, for a number of years. Right now, I'm working in the UK, dealing with different people with different culture. I can tell you that the approach to these people are not the same. The way you are going to approach in Nigeria in the hospital, you can't do that to a similar person in the UK in the hospital. But same medicine, same prescription of paracetamol, but the approach to prescribing the same paracetamol is quite different. Here in the UK, they will not even listen to you if you don't go through certain way to be able to get it across to them. So that's the importance of culture, the way of life of the people. So if you must live in harmony with your partner, you must understand her cultural background, his cultural background. The idea is not to change the person. The idea is to understanding and look for a way to manage it, which we are going to discuss in this institute. Please, if you've not subscribed, once again, I need to do that so that you could get a lot of content. Okay, so you can type in the comment section, what do you think about culture and marriage? How does it shape marriages? Tell me about it. I need to hear from you, your experiences, especially if you marriage across cultural background. Tell me about it and how you've been able to manage it. Someone could learn from you, some of the secrets you have used, and people can live in marital bliss. Okay, so just be rest assured that my wife and I, Mrs. Irene and Dr. Tony, we are quite passionate in helping you to be able to live in marital bliss. Okay, now let me talk about the other one. Why the difference? Education. You see, I've talked about different reasons why we are different. I talked about your genetic makeup, your upbringing. I've talked about culture, and now your education. You see, people think differently because of how far they've learned. Education is simply being able to have access to information, and then you tend to change your mind. Education also gives you a lot of exposure to different people from different backgrounds. I remember the first time I got to medical school, I met a lot of people. So that was the first time I was leaving my community, my state, to another state where I met with people from every part of the country. So I understood how different people from different angles, from different ethnic groups, how they think. So that began to shape my mind. Same thing when I started doing some postgraduate training in the UK. Again, I began to see people from different continents of the world. People from Asia, people from Europe, and people from America, North America, South America. I began to see a lot of people and the way they think, and that's beginning to impact on my mind the way I think currently. So education, yes, is one of the reasons why we have the difference. So if one of the partner is highly educated and the other partner is less educated, the way they are going to think is not going to be the same. So that's the reason why I encourage every partner to continue to improve themselves. Education in this age does not really mean that you have to really go to 4 years of university. The basic one you had is enough. Or you can get a master, you can get a PhD if you so desire. But you have a lot of information on Facebook, on YouTube, a lot of information that's just there. Just type anything on YouTube, you have access to a lot. In fact, just before this video, my wife was just trying to talk to me about how she has learned so much about finances on YouTube alone without going to financial school. A lot of things are there. So when we talk about education, we need training, not necessarily because of formal education like masters. Yes, that's fine. That's part of it. You could go for it. But if you don't have the time and the resources to do that, you could educate yourself on some of the social media. This is the information age. A lot of things are available because if the gap between you and your partner in terms of learning is so wide, your way of thinking, of reasoning, your psychology is going to be wide also. And because of that, you could have conflict. So this is one of the reasons why we are different. Stay more with me. Check the video for more content. I have 2 more to give to you. Why the difference? Love you so much. My wife and I, we love you. We desire that you have that marital bliss that you so desire in your marriage. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you again.